Uncle Mike, I read online about the idea of one global currency. Do you think that could really happen?
That's a really good question, Jack. The idea of a single world currency has been around for a long time. It has many good sides, but also some big challenges. As the world becomes more connected through technology, travel, and business, people talk about it even more. Believe it or not, even hundreds of years ago, leaders and thinkers dreamed about one money system to make life easier for everyone.
Where did this idea even start? Has anyone ever tried it?
Good question, Sam. In history, some empires tried to make one currency for everyone under their rule. For example, the Roman Empire used the denarius across huge parts of Europe, Africa, and Asia, making trade simpler. In ancient China, they made standard coins to help traders along the famous Silk Road. In modern times, we have a real example, the euro, which started in 1999. Today, 19 countries in Europe use it. It makes traveling and doing business between those countries much easier. More recently, in 2023, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, talked about creating their own shared currency for trade. Although it hasn't happened yet, it shows that the idea of fewer currencies is still very much alive today.
Yeah, that makes sense. But why would a single currency be better?
Imagine traveling without worrying about changing money. Today, when you go to another country, you have to exchange your money. You also lose some money on fees and bad exchange rates. For example, when traveling from the US to Japan, you might lose 2-3% of your money just to exchange it. With one global currency, you wouldn't need to do that. It would save travelers and businesses billions of dollars every year. Everything would be quicker, cheaper, and less stressful.
Oh yeah. I remember when I traveled to Europe last summer. I lost money exchanging dollars for euros.
Exactly. And it's not just travelers. Businesses, especially small ones, struggle with different currencies, for example. A small shop in Mexico selling handmade bags online to people in the US has to worry about the peso-dollar exchange rate. With a global currency, they could sell their products without worrying about losing money on currency changes. It would open up global markets for many more small businesses.
So businesses would gain a lot too?
Absolutely. Right now, companies have to plan carefully because if a currency suddenly loses value, they can lose millions. For example, in 2022, the US dollar became stronger compared to other currencies. This made it harder for American companies to sell their goods overseas because they became more expensive. If we had one currency, companies could focus more on growing their business instead of constantly worrying about money changes.
If it's so helpful, why don't we already have a global currency?
That's the tough part. Countries would have to give up some control over their money when there's a problem in their economy. Governments today can print more money or change interest rates with one shared currency. They wouldn't be able to do that as easily. Also, many countries see their currency as part of their national pride. For example, the US dollar is a big symbol of America's strength. Britain feels the same about their pound. Giving that up would not be easy.
I guess one size doesn't fit all economies.
Exactly. Even with the euro, we saw problems. For example, during the Greek debt crisis in the early 2010, Greece struggled because it couldn't control its own currency anymore. If it had its old currency, the drachma, it could have made changes to help its economy. Similarly, if weaker countries join a strong global currency, they could find it hard to survive tough times without the ability to adjust.
What about Bitcoin? Could something like that work as a world currency?
Great thinking. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are exciting because they can be sent across the world without banks. During the COVID-19 pandemic, some people used Bitcoin when their banks were closed or limited. But Bitcoin's value changes very fast, sometimes thousands of dollars in a single day. It's still too unstable for everyday use. Governments are also very cautious because cryptocurrencies are hard to control and can sometimes be used for illegal activities. However, some countries are now exploring digital money that is safer and more stable. For example, in 2023, China expanded its use of the digital yuan, a government-backed digital currency.
So, could we have a global digital currency one day?
It's possible, but it would take a lot of trust and teamwork between countries. Some experts think that a global digital currency managed by a trusted world organization like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, could happen. Maybe in the future, we'll see regional digital currencies grow bigger and connect together. But it would take decades, and countries would need to agree on a lot of things, like rules, security, and leadership.
Wow, there's a lot more to it than I thought.
Absolutely. A single world currency could make life easier and cheaper for people and businesses. But it would also require huge sacrifices from countries. Thanks to new technology like blockchain and digital currencies, we are closer than ever to making it possible, but for now, it's still just a dream. A really interesting one.
Thanks for explaining it all, Uncle Mike. You made it easy to understand.
Yeah, I feel like I really get it now. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Keep asking questions because understanding money and the economy can really help you in life. And who knows, maybe you'll help shape the future of money someday.